Impatience never commanded success. Edwin H. Chapin. My friends, I say this all the time, but I don't know how many people actually listen to me. Everybody wants a quick way with success in the market. And I always tell people, take your time, learn things the right way, and remember that once you learn how to trade, once you learn how to accurately follow price movement, which is what it is all about, if you can do that, you will make up for every minute you ever spent learning to do this. So take your time, learn, practice trade. That's what we're all about. We're not a stock calling service here. We're not a bond or a gold or a Bitcoin calling service. We are an education firm. We want you to learn with us, practice trade to show yourself approved. Don't worry about how long it takes. Persevere and you will conquer. And I can always tell the people are going to succeed because when they show up, they're not asking how long will it take. They are saying, I will take as long as it takes to figure this out. And when you have that mindset, nothing can stop you. Let's jump into these charts. Stocks are mixed. We see bonds and gold. Well, bonds are up, pretty much flat. Gold's down and Bitcoin is down. Let's jump first into the S&P 500. Moving in the right directions, my friends. You see higher volume this week, more down movement, bigger candle. It's just looking beautiful in the downward direction. Down 0.24% for the day. And again, we can see where we had a day and a half of some up movement. At the end of the day on Friday, things moving down with high volume, which is what we want to see. First day of this latest two-day candle, again, on both the two-day and the half-day, well below the weekly trend line. And we have a doji forming right here. We'll see how things continue on Monday. But with this strong down movement and high volume, of course, the candles would tell us and the volume would tell us to expect it to continue. And of course, we're going into the second week of our down trade. And you can see on that two-day candle where we popped down to a low here. Let's in fact zoom in on this chart. And you can see how close we got to actually knocking ourselves out with a 1.83% gain there within just a few short days. Then things popped back up, but they're moving back in the right direction and we are fine with it. We'll let things roll. When we do hit that down movement in our profit band, of course, we'll take that 1.83%. We'll leave half the trade to run and see how long it will go. How did that work for us back here? Well, that was a 12% increase over many weeks. Beautiful, wasn't it? And again, what you do is take your small profit at the beginning and then let the other part of the trade ride. You need to learn how to let your profits run, cut your losses. If you do that and you manage your losses first and then let your profits run second, my friends, the world is your oyster. Practice and prove it to yourself. That is where we are on the S&P. The NASDAQ 100 up just a little bit, 0.07%, not nearly as strong as the S&P. We can see that it was an average volume down week as it has been over these last 3 weeks. We can see the sea change in the market right here, a week beginning the 11th of September, because we had average high volume with a little bitty candlestick there, a little bitty spinning top. And then, of course, things moved over with about the same volume, bigger candlestick. This week, a little bit bigger candlestick and a little bit higher volume. Now, we do see we've got a green candle forming right there. First day of the latest two-day candle. We'll see which way that goes, and we can see some strong upward movement in the Heikin-Ashi candlesticks for the last day and a half. So we're paying close attention as things settle back. Gosh, it's hard to see that. I'm going to go below and try not to. You can see where things settled way back at the end of the day into a doji with red volume. So we'll keep our close eye as the week starts with the NASDAQ 100. Now, where are we on bonds? Bonds flat for the day. And what we saw happen, popped up in the morning, then pulled back doji in the afternoon on red volume. We can see we have a down candle well below the weekly trend line on the first day of the latest 2-day candle. And of course, you can see accelerating volume over the last 4 weeks as bonds move down. So that's going quite nicely. Now let's look at gold. Where is gold? Well, gold had been meandering around trying to figure out something to do over the last 4 weeks after it moved down and didn't quite clip the 1 ATR on the 2-day chart, then popped back up. And of course, this week down higher than average volume, price well below on both the 2-day and the half-day charts. Decent volume on those, heading down. So things moving in the right direction. How many of you pulled the trigger on an options practice trade on gold at the end of the week? How many of you did it? Now again, remember the thing about gold, unlike the S&P 500, the NASDAQ 100, and 20-year bonds, the problem with gold is there's no good single inverse. Why? For some reason, we just don't have anything that is liquid to be able to get into. DGZ is the inverse for gold, but it is quite illiquid. So that means, of course, you get to practice your options trading with gold. We've got great options training. If you haven't taken it yet, it's available for any of our Patreon levels of support. Consider, if you appreciate what we do here, you will love that 3-part series. It's the first thing you get when you sign up as a Patreon member. Think about it. Remember, the things you tend to support tend to stay around if you appreciate what we do here. Let's look at where we are on Bitcoin. Ended down 0.95%, so about 1% for the day. Saw where Bitcoin ticked up and then down on the 2-day chart and then back up a little bit. You can again see where it's been range bound for many, many days, just sort of slipping sideways. Last week we had a bit of an up week. This week, back to doji and indecision, although it does look like it's trying to tick up more. Trying to find a good potential point to jump into. How many of you jumped in last week to see which way this would go? Well, thing that looking at the volume, you can see that we had some decent volume average, I would just say, back on the week beginning the 5th of September. Then the volume dropped off. Even in that up week last week, the week beginning the 18th of September, still low volume. This week, not even average volume. So again, let's just wait and see how Bitcoin, still some indecision there, how it ends up sorting its way out. Because we would like to be able to ride the next up move up. What has Bitcoin done since the beginning of the year? Well, it popped up, rolled back, popped up, rolled back, popped up the third time, rolled back. Is it popping up again? Well, when it starts to move, we're going to be hoping to pull the trigger on a successful practice trade if the charts will give us that signal. We're not just going to go out there and throw the dice like we're playing craps. So we shall wait, watch, and see. Sometimes when you don't forget, when you don't have a chart that you can read, you don't have a chart that you can trade. And we keep talking about how we want Bitcoin to get back to being a chart that we can read and we can count on and we can trade. And if it doesn't produce that, then we're not going to be pulling the trigger and we're not going to cry over spilt milk, my friends. There are hundreds and hundreds of trackable charts. And backtracking is a key to understanding what you're doing. If you've not taken that training yet, I'm going to put it at the end of today's video. Now, we have a great training for all of our subscribers. It'll be in your notes on the video that you receive in your email today. So follow that. If you're not a subscriber, go to chartingwealth.com, sign up. We never spam. We never sell that list. That is for us to share things with you. God bless, my friends. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth World Headquarters.